Richard guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to overclock the i5 2500K CPU. Now I'm going to be taking it up to around about 4.5 GHz. Now you must remember you've got to have the right equipment if you want to be doing this. I'm doing this on an air cooled system and I'll be using the Noctua heatsink, which is a picture on the screen right now. It's a pretty hefty heatsink, and that's why I'd advise you to use something of that nature. Also, I'm using the P8P67 Pro motherboard, where the latest BIOS updates, and you see that on the top of the screen there. Now, as you can see, the motherboard picture is quite a nice motherboard. I also am using the 1600 MHz Ripsaw memory. So all in all, you do need to have the right stuff to do this type of thing, and also a decent power supply is always a nice touch as well if you're going to be overclocking. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to go on to the advanced mode here. So I'm going to click on the top upper right hand side there. Come down to the advanced mode. Now what we want to do here is go into the AI tweaker. Okay, so here we have a bog standard setup. This is normal for what you're going to see when you first start the system. So I'm going to come into here and I'll move this onto manual. I want to leave the PCIe frequency to 100. You don't want to be messing around, but it's too much, can make it a bit unstable. So what we're going to do is turn the turbo ratio onto all cores. Make sure that's on all cores, and here this is where we want to put our number. So I'm going to be using 45 here. That's 4.5 GHz. Push enter on the keyboard and that will make that right. So also here I want to enable the internal PLL over voltage. Memory frequency is 1600 for my memory. Okay, that's what I'm going to be using. EPU power setting mode, I want to get that disabled there. Overclocking tuner, I want to make sure that's on cancelled, and the DRAM memory settings. Now normally the motherboard is pretty good at recognizing the memory settings, and you'll see them listed here, 999, 24 and 2 there, and this is what I would recommend, leaving this on auto for doing that. Now if you can actually put these in manually if you wanted to, and that means you just need to put the numbers in here and push enter on the keyboard. Okay, let's go back here now. Okay, CPU power management. Now CPU ratio, I'm going to leave that on auto. Now enhance Intel speed step technology. It's really up to you whether you want to turn this off or disable it. Some people do disable it. I leave mine enabled. Turbo mode I leave enabled. But as I said, some people do disable that. I'm going to leave these all on auto. I'm going to go back now. Let's move down the table a bit. So here we're going to line collaboration. We want to put this onto extreme. VRM frequency, we're going to leave that on auto, but the spread spectrum, we're going to disable that. Okay, that's on there, so I'm going to put this onto extreme as well, and also put this onto extreme. I'm going to leave the CPU current capability on 100%. Okay, the voltage here. Now you don't really want to go above 1.35 volts really. You want to start going higher and higher. As you go past 4.5 you may have to start putting a bit more voltage. This is going to shorten the life of your CPU, so it's entirely up to you. Try and leave this as low as possible, as long as you're not getting any crashing and stuff, then leave that as low as possible. I'm going to put this on menu mode here. I'm going to stick in the number that I want. Now I'm going to put this on 1.35. Probably as far as I want to go with it. Okay, DRAM voltage, you can see it there, 1.5 volts. Now that's the actual voltage of my memory, Now yours may well be more, 1.6. You don't want to go more than 1.65 really, but pretty much I would say stick to the manufacturer on the thing there. So I'm going to leave this as auto and let that decide what it wants to be. I'm going to bring this down here. Okay, so we're going to leave this on auto, and the VCCSA voltage, leave that on 100, and I'm going to leave this on 1.1 here. That's okay. You can push this up a little bit. I'm going to leave that on auto. I'm going to leave this on auto as well. This is going to be turned off. Okay, the next thing we want to do is go over to advanced, and once we get to advanced we want to go onto the CPU configuration. Here you can leave this on enabled, all cores. Okay, here we want to make sure that's disabled. Leave that enabled. I'm going to leave this disabled. Okay, this allows the CPU to go up and down, so when you're at the desktop or stuff like that doing nothing, this will step down from the up from the actual overclock there. But you want to actually change this, you can do, and it will turn it off and be overclocked permanently. Enabled for this, and we want to disable this and disable this one, and I want to disable that one. The next thing I want to do is go on to monitor, and here it just really depends on what you want to do here. Okay, chassis fan control, I want to turn this off. I'm going to turn this off too. Leave the anti-surge on there. I want to make sure that's on there. I want to come up to the tool area here, and what we're going to do is go into profile. I'm going to save a profile. Now you could make this whatever you like, call it whatever you want, and I'm going to save this profile 1 and then say yes to that, and that will save the profile up the top here. Now we want to actually push F10 on there. You can see it, F10 to save and exit, so we're going to do that right now, and then I'll see you on the desktop. Okay, so here we are at the desktop now, and we need to run some tests here to make sure we've got a stable machine. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is looking at the temperatures, and as you can see these are my temperatures at the moment, and that's pretty decent so far. So we've got some pretty low temperatures there, and remember we are running at a 4.5 GHz overclock on air. So what we're going to do here is going to pull that to one side, and I'm going to open up CPU Z. Okay, so here we have CPU Z. Now we've got the enhanced Intel step-in technology on, so it means it allows to step it down. So when you're not doing anything, it will step down. You won't be running at the full overclock all the time. And this is something that I like to do. I don't, you know, if you want to give it the full beans all the time, then obviously you can disable that and it will be running fully at that speed all the time. Now what I'll do is I'll push this to the one side, and we're going to run another piece of software. Okay, so here we have another piece of software which we're going to use. We've got the Intel burn test here. You can leave a log file if you wanted to, and what we're going to do is just start it. It's a standard test, or you can put it on high or very high or maximum, or whatever you want to do here. So what we'll do it on is high, and we're just going to push start here, And if you look at the CPU now down the bottom here, you can see there is an actual 4.5 gigahertz. So we're running at the actual full speed now. Now we're pushing the CPU. As you can see, the temperatures here are pretty much staying nice. They're not going over the top. Now what we want to do here is also push this with a prime 95. Okay, so I'm going to skip that. I've done these tests before, just showing you what you need to be doing. So prime 95 is another thing. So what we want to do here is large FFTs, maximum heat, power consumption, and some RAM tests. We're going to put that on there, and we're going to run this and click OK. Now the number of torture test threads to run is dependent on what you want to do here. We're running on 4, so we're going to run these, and just leave that running, and that will start to torture the machine. Now I've seen people leaving these for, you know, many hours. It's up to you how far you leave it. Personally, 4 hours minimum, 8 hours maximum for me. And this will give you a result to see whether your overclock was fine. Now these will show up red if it's fouled, and then you just have to go and make some changes. Now pretty much the setup I've give you works for my machine. You may need to tweak it a little bit to suit your own, but as you can see, the temperatures are pretty decent for 4.5 gig overclock. And remember, this was a 3.3 to start off with, so we ain't done too bad. You can push it a little bit more with some more further tweaking. We've kept the voltage down to 1.35, which I think is pretty reasonable. You don't want to be pushing the voltage up too high. I've seen people pushing this up way too high to get to 5 gigahertz and stuff, but you are going to shorten the life of the processor, so just bear that in mind. And have a little play with it, and make some own little tweaks. Maybe comment down here what you've done and where you've got and what you want to do. Okay, remember, this is just a basic overclock just to show you how you can do it with this type of processor. It's pretty straightforward, but you know, I've got a half-X case here with plenty of cooling and fan, and it is running on air, so there's no water involved. So it just proves that you can get a nice overclock for a pretty cheap price. So there you go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop this. I've done the torture test already, and we'll leave it at that. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy these videos. My name is Brian from Britec.co.uk. If you enjoy these videos, please remember, hit that subscribe button and show support, and rate and favourite all my videos if you enjoy them. And I'll be making more videos again in the future. So thanks again for watching. Bye for now.